What's up, beautiful people? It's Amanda here once again with another video. And as you know, today is Friday. It's Friday, which means that it's time for a little motivation. And as you know, we are continuing our series called Motivation in Careers. And today we have a special guest who is going to be telling us about something exciting. So I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell us what his career is. So come on and welcome.
Good morning, Amanda. My name is Renwick Gaskin to your audience, and I'm in mental health. I'm a mental health nurse. I'm also a mental health tutor.
All right. So today we're going to be hearing about a field which is in mental health, guys. So let's get right into it. So the first question I want to ask you is, what really encouraged you to go down this path of becoming a mental health nurse, a mental health tutor? Like what would have motivated you to go in this direction?
Let's see. Well, my aunt knew someone, my mom knew someone, and they wanted first. Well, no. I initially wanted to do pharmacy, and I'd apply at Barbados Community College to do pharmacy. That, oh my, that's so many years ago. I was about 19 years old then. And I applied to do pharmacy, and I got accepted to do the pharmacy program. However, my mom knew someone, my aunt knew someone, and they wanted men to work at the psychiatric hospital. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but the opportunity to make something like, I think it was about $1,200 to $1,400 a day versus going to college and have to get my clothes from the coolie man and wait till my mother give me a little allowance. I decided I would go the autonomous route, and I go into the psychiatric hospital. I had no idea what I was going into. I had all the preconceived notions and all the different stereotypes that people would say about persons who were mentally ill. My very first day, I called my mom and told her that I really don't think I can do this. I want to come back home. But then as I was being oriented to the surroundings, I met a lot of young men, some a little older, but not much older than myself, and they were doing it. And I said, well, you know what? I'm 6'3", 180 pounds. I can do this. And I never regretted making that decision. Never once regretted making that decision, because as I got more involved and I got the further training and I got the experience and I met the individuals, and I hope that we have an opportunity to speak about those individuals who are suffering from mental disorders, because as I begin to become more in tune with what mental illness is, what contributed to it, and understand the behaviors, I understand then, wow, this is where I want to be.
Wow, that is so inspiring. And who would have thought? Now you're here, and I'm sure that you're doing amazing things and you seem so passionate about it. So we want to get a little insight on what exactly you do. So can you tell us what you do on a day-to-day basis, what different mental illnesses you might see?
Well, I'm no longer in the clinical area. But I can give you a basic idea. I'm now a lecturer at Barbados Community College, and I'm very much involved in developing young practitioners, young nurses, to fully appreciate and value mental health as an illness as it is. And as you can fully appreciate, part of what we consider health, you must consider the biological, the psychological, emotional, and that's my emphasis when I meet with the students. But on average, you can appreciate that mental illness, apart from all the taboos and the misconceptions, mental illness is a condition of the brain. And as we become more advanced in our imaging and our identification of anomalies or problems going on within the structure of the brain, we can begin to appreciate, what's happening. There are certain chemicals, there are certain imbalances that are occurring that's contributing to mental illness. So very often, apart from that knowledge, is the behavior that people see, the manifestation is the behavior that persons begin to feel very uncomfortable with. But when you begin to understand what is the underpinning of that. So very often, on a day-to-day basis, working in the psychiatric hospital, we have a lot of interventions that are focused on helping people to understand what is happening to them, learning to control their impulses. And apart from pharmaceuticals and giving them the pharmaceuticals and observing how they react, the efficacy of those drugs, the likely side effects, very often the improvements of behaviors and showing people where they started and where they are now, having group interaction, having one-on-one therapy, having people learn and understand their behavioral responses and how to modify and adjust those behaviors. So it's a very interesting and exciting field to be in. And I would advise anyone, if you are looking for a career in health, one such area of consideration would be mental health. It has its rewards, not monetary, not material, but the whole idea of meeting a human being who's at this level in terms of despair and depression and emotional upheaval, and then having them to be as bubbly and as lively as you and I.
Right.
Yep.
Sounds good. So I wanted to know what exactly you would have studied so that you can get into this area. Because I know some people might be curious about what exactly you might have to study to be able to get into this area.
Well, in order to be a mental health specialist in nursing, you first have to have your degree in nursing. So the basic requirement into any specialty, to move on to any specialty in nursing, you must have your degree in nursing. That's what we offer in Barbados right now, a degree in nursing. So you must have your basic degree in nursing, and then you can go on and study psych mental health nursing for 1 year. It's a 1 year program, very intense program, being offered to registered nurses to have double qualifications. And involved in that area of study, there's things called, I can just call a few of the courses. We look at things like psychopathology, the cause of mental disorders. We look at the brain. You have to look at the brain very intimately. That's the origin of most mental disorders. Then we look at the different theoretical concepts. We look at things like Sigmund Freud. We look at Erik Erikson. We look at cognitive behavioral theories, and all of those different facets of emotional, psychological, social well-being. We look at those things. We even look at things like forensics. What and let me just put this plug there really quick. Because one of the concerns I have, particularly as it pertains to mental health, is that very often they're criminalized based on it's an illness, it's a disease, but for some reason we tend to put a stamp of criminal because of behavior manifestation. So a person who's destituted and living on the streets because of their illness, and they're trying to meet their basic physiological need, and they go in search of food, and they just do something inappropriate, take up a piece of chocolate or trespass on a person's property to pick a mango. Then as a result, they have a criminal record, but really and truly, what is the underlying problem is the mental disorder that's causing them to present with these inappropriate behaviors and these poor judgments and these impulses, So if there's one thing I want to leave with your audience is, don't be hasty or don't be quick to label a person with a mental disorder as an outcast, because that's one of the biggest challenges we are having now in terms of stereotypes and labeling and people ostracizing persons who are genuinely suffering from an illness.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Definitely, that's something that we should take away. And of course, well, this is a motivational channel. So I wanted to know, what word would you like to leave with my viewers to motivate them as they go forward choosing their careers, and also just to go throughout their week, throughout their day, and to remember?
If you have a passion for people, I believe my profession is a profession of altruistic drive and passion. If you have a genuine love and passion for people, consider a career in healthcare. Wherever in healthcare you go, you're making a contribution. As you can appreciate now with everything that's going on around the world, one of the most important jobs out there is being a care provider, and with particular emphasis on mental health.
All right. So thank you so much for being here. I'm sure that everyone would have had a great time listening and learning, of course, about mental health from you. So we just want to thank you for being here for today. And I definitely enjoyed having you as my guest today.
Thank you. Keep the energy.
Definitely. So guys, that's all I have for you for today. I hope that you continue to enjoy your weekends and that you keep smiling and stay motivated. That's all. See ya.